Hi, we are going to make a pendant out of a tumble stone today. And you see, I took the s-lon cord. It is very good for this project because the s-lon is very small cord. And because of that, you will see more of the stone. Imagine you would take a very fat cord. People would mostly see the cord and not the stone, and we want to see very much of the stone. So we have to use 4 cords and fold them in half. It really depends on what you're going to make for. If you have a really big and chunky stone, then you will have way longer threads than you will need for a very tiny stone. If you want very long tassels, you have to take way much longer threads than if you are going for really short tassels. So you're going to secure it with a slip knot or a knot you can open easily. Fasten it with some pins, and then you're going for some square knots. You got a very flat band when doing this, and it just depends on what you want. Do as much or as less knots that you want. Imagine it would be the half of it, and this will be your loop for the pendant. So at this point I decided that it is enough for me, and I fold it in half and secure it with some pins again on my ground, and then I just take one thread and do a double half hitch or triple half hitch. Pull it nice and tight, and this will be the loop, as I mentioned before. Now we have to divide it into pairs of 2 cords, and you always take the 2 cords together and make a knot with it. You can use a pin to place the knot on the very place you want. And again, this is something you have to try out, and that depends on the stone you use, because you will now go and split again in half and build new pairs and make knots with the 2 together, like you can see here. And think of a very big stone. You have to, or you can do the holes way bigger than when you have a small and tiny stone. And nobody can tell you the master plan of the absolutely perfect bag for those, because you're going to make a bag here, and because every stone is different, and maybe you got a bigger yarn, or you using wool instead of it, or whatever, and it will differ from time to time, and it's just what you like. Maybe you think of, wow, your holes are way too big, I want it much smaller, and then you do it much smaller because you like it better. And when there is a point when you think, oh, it might be okay, then, or it might be ready to put the stone in, then you take the stone and just try. At this point I thought of, it's not really ready, you can make another row of knots, and so I did. And after doing this, it's quite ready for the stone to fit in. It's not that easy, but with a lot of feeling you will bring it in and give it a good position, and then you get one of the threads out of it and make another double half hitch, and yes, you can now bring on or string on the little vocals to embellish the tassel at the end. Just one bead at each chord and secure it with a simple knot, and then you just cut it off and secure it with a lighter. When you did this, you can put a drop of glue or adhesive in the knot right under your stone, or where the tassel starts, just to keep it from self-opening, because the s-lon is a little bit slippery and it might help or prevent it from open itself. So at this point I was ready with it and cut it and and melted the ends right out of the camera. This will prevent the rockers from slip off. So, and then we are ready. It's a super fast and easy way to do a beautiful little pendant, just with a little bit of yarn and a nice stone you want to carry with you and around your neck. And so I hope it is useful for you and you can make your own.